Hello and welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Fine Wine and Good Times podcast. To the Fine Wine and Good Times podcast, the podcast everyone is talking about. I am your host, author Tracy Brown. I'm also the director of a nonprofit and now a podcaster, and I'm here with my girls, Tamika and Shy. Shy and Tamika. Are people too sensitive nowadays?
Yes. Everybody's getting canceled and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, a lot of shade is covered by a joke.
They say there's a lot of truth in every joke.
Mm.
That's what they say. I think there is a point where it should get physical.
Ooh,
I mean,
tussle.
to me, that point is getting shorter and shorter.
Mm.
Like back in the day, comedians or even like your neighborhood jokester, they would really go there. Your mama jokes,
Ooh.
they used to call it playing the dozens and all of that. Like they would really go in and they would go for your jugular vein. And a lot of times that built up MCs, because in hip hop, it's a lot of verbal, jarring back and forth. And so that, in my era anyway, there were jokes were like the norm. Nowadays, I'm seeing people are really super sensitive about being the butt of a joke.
Right.
You go to a comedy show and you don't want to sit in the front because you don't want to be the butt of the comedian's jokes, but you go there to laugh.
Right. At something.
Right. At somebody's expense, you know.
Right.
So is it that when the joke's on you, that it's not funny?
Okay, my shoes is busted. I don't care. I got buck teeth and I pull niggas. Like, so,
right.
it's about, I feel like it's about the person and how they are on the inside. Because if somebody says something about me, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You got to know who you could joke with and who you can't
That's
joke
true.
with. You also got to know what you can joke about and what you can't joke about.
Absolutely.
But also, a lot of people just have dark humor, and it's like trying to be funny, just trying to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Going into what you can and can't joke about, though, like
how do you know?
Where's the line?
Right.
I know back in the day, or your mama joke, depending on the situation, if it's your mama so dark, whatever, that's one level. But if your mama's really on drugs and the person says something about your mama being on drugs, now we talking fighting words because, that was that hit a little too close to home,
right.
So there are points to me where, a joke can go too far. I just think that nowadays that line is getting shorter and shorter. It's like you say any little thing to somebody and people are so sensitive. I saw something this past week where they were saying, do we need comedians anymore? Are they necessary in society? Because when a comedian makes a joke, somebody in the audience feels marginalized. And I'm from the era where there's a lot of words we can't say anymore, like midget. We used to say that all the time growing up. And I'm 4'11". You know what I'm saying? So, I just, some things just don't offend me the way that they offend other people. And nowadays, I just think we're in a real sensitive point in society.
But I feel like those are also people that think like Grown Ups is hands down the funniest movie ever, or like something
like some corny stuff.
Some corny movie is just that's funny.
Was good, though.
It was good. No
really
shade
good.
to Grown Ups.
Corny.
I think Grown Ups was hilarious, but that's not one of the funniest movies of all time. We're not about to. I don't think it was all that, but comedians are definitely necessary because where else are you going to be able to go drink something?
Absolutely.
And go
laugh.
and watch it, right?
And
laugh
you pull up to the comedy
endlessly.
show to laugh,
right?
Endlessly.
So now let's say that you're at a comedy show, you're with your man and he decides, the comedian on stage decides he's going in on you, JoJo. He's fixated on you.
I'm going to be weak. And I'm not gonna wait for him outside, backstage. I'm gonna beat no.
You're fine with it. Is there a point where either one of you expects your man to get involved?
Myself, I don't like none of that. I don't like don't say shit.
You better watch your mouth.
I don't say nothing. You don't say nothing.
Right.
Because you can't be more offended than me, baby. That's not how it works.
Right, exactly.
No.
But, those lines nowadays are very blurred. The lines between what is a traditionally masculine role to take and what's a feminine role. I think I personally, I'm like you. I don't want my guy to escalate everything to the point where there's physical violence.
Yeah, because he bang, I'm banging 10 times harder. So like
now we both locked up, and nobody's winning here, But you make a good point that if we want a man to be a man, and he feels that his lady is being disrespected, and he speaks up, or he acts out, who are we to question that? I think that it's a great topic to discuss, because to me, there is a line where your masculinity has taken over. If we're having verbal conversation, if there's a joke being told, somebody is saying something about me or to me or speaking of me in a joking way, I don't see how that escalates to my man needs to punch him in the face. Unless he's saying something utterly disrespectful, like, my private parts stink, or, something
calling
wild like
name,
that. Like now,
stuff.
all right, maybe. But short of that, I personally just don't see where that a joke could lead to that.
Violence.
Especially after a certain age. Like when you're 10, yeah, you joke on me, I'm slap you, but when you're 40, I think you should have some other tools in your toolbox.
Right.
What y'all think? I saw a incident that I think we all saw play out on a national award stage, and someone was slapped. And there was a moment after the slap where the person the victim of the slap said, and I'm quoting, it was like, whew, okay. Have you ever had that? Ooh, okay moment where you had to talk yourself out of going to jail? That to me, in that moment of woof, okay, so much was said there.
It's like you're controlling yourself.
Yes.
It's like your brain is telling you attack, but you're like,
right.
Do what you gotta do.
You gotta call on all your inner strength, to not react in that moment.
But that's why you also need to pick your battles super wisely and just feel it. Like, is it really worth you walking across stage?
Exactly. Is it?
Is it?
Is everything worth that? But do you believe men can be in abusive relationships?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That they can be manipulated by the woman and, like a puppet on a string kind of thing. Have you seen that
I
play
feel like
out?
that happens with relationships where the male is younger than the female.
That's true.
And she's providing and paying the bills. She's dangling him on a little string. Like, yeah, I bought you that car. Now you better come do this or whatever. And then they end up not talking to people, cutting off ties.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's true. And back in the day, that, not to say that it was better, but like shows like, this is before y'all time, but like Archie Bunker, he would say the N-word all the time. George Jefferson said cracker all the time. They talked about gays. They talked about short people. They talked about obese people. Everybody could get it.
There was no filter.
It was equal opportunity joke time. And nowadays I just think there's so many things off limits. If I was a comedian, I don't know what I could talk about.
Right,
like,
you gotta talk about yourself. Basically.
Right. All you could do is tell your own personal family stories, and then after a while, how long does that go on before it gets played out?
Right. This topic.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen it. Certain celebrity rapper, celebrity girlfriend, celebrity baby mama.
Okay.
Beef. Big beef because the child doesn't like the girlfriend.
I did hear about this.
Right. And this is hitting home for me. Like, that shit just punched me in my face. Because I'm like, I'm in a situation where I'm with somebody who has children.
Okay.
Young children.
Young children, okay. Because it depends, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm usually good with kids, but I don't know what their moms are telling them. They don't know anything about me. So I don't know, and they're little kids. Little kids are impressionable.
Yes, they are.
They're very impressionable. So in that situation, I was thinking, how would I react being the girlfriend? If I know.
So let's sum it up in this, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I only saw snippets of this story. In this story, there's a man and a woman who have a baby together, and then they break up. and he gets with a new girl, and the new girl is around the baby, and the baby says something negative happened with the new girl. And so the mother of the child is, as I would be, irate and ready to pull up. So in that scenario, I've been on both sides of it. I have been the stepmom. I have been the mom whose child is going over to the house. And I just believe children. I really do. And if the child says something happened.
I agree,
you know?
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. Like, even, God forbid, it's like a fib.
Yeah.
I'm still not going against the word of my child, because
you can't put anything
somewhere.
past anybody.
So we need to find out where it came. Psychology major.
Yes.
We need to find out where it came from.
Yes.
Before we move on.
Do you find challenges being the queen that you are? When you're dating and now the man has a child, does the other woman off top not like you because you bad?
Girl, I wouldn't like me either.
Okay. Is that a thing? Like, is that something you deal with? Like, immediately you're public enemy number one?
It's happened. It's a thing. And it hurts me because it hurts the person I'm with. Because
Absolutely.
I did nothing to y'all situation. I'm only here for you, baby.
Right.
So for that person to be so bothered by me, especially when I'm not doing anything to them, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now. It's obvious. It's either you still want my man.
Right.
Which, honey, if he wanted you, he would have you. Y'all could be happy together. Leave me out of it.
Right.
But since I'm in it, don't involve me if I don't have to be involved.
What if you got accused in this scenario? What if you were the girl and the baby went home and said, I fell and Shy let me lay there and didn't help me. And now she's coming at you all rah-rah. She want to know what's up. How do you deal with that?
I would, my calmest, I would explain the situation, and I would say, I understand you believing your child because I would believe my child.
Right.
But you could either take my word or not. I didn't do anything to your child. And whether you want to take it or not, that's that. And then we can move on from there.
Right.
But knowing me, myself, I'm not going to leave no child on the floor.
Right.
And if they do say that and it is believable.
Yeah.
Like, you obviously don't know me as a person.
As your character.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, nah.
Okay. Yeah. It is a complicated situation. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, well, this is a mess. You know what I mean? Because to me, there's no easy way forward, because it's not like he's going to end the relationship. Now the new girl has children of her own, with him. And so now it's even more complicated. And I just don't know. It's tough.
It is tough because I'm on both sides.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then do you then avoid dating men with kids? You know what I mean?
To avoid that drama.
To avoid the drama, the baby mama drama.
But they come with a whole bunch of other drama besides.
That's true.
Just that. It's a whole bunch of drama behind that.
You're right. It's going to be baby mama or some other variety.
Right. Some kind.
Yeah.
But some of them are cool.
True.
Some of them are cool. But the ones that are not are really not.
Yeah.
But I feel like in that situation, it's really, but now what if, say for instance, that child is not telling the truth because he's created his own thing because his mama don't like that mama. So it's like, what if that's not true?
On things like that too.
What if it's not true? Yeah. And now you're preventing the baby seeing the father, and now that's a whole thing that could be avoided on its own because.
But couldn't that be avoided just by saying, if there's a question of whether this girl had a negative interaction with the baby, just don't have her around the baby anymore.
Right.
Like when you're seeing your son, you see your son. Why does she have to be involved? That's the part that really blows me. When guys act like, well, in order for me to see my kids, she has to be standing right here. Like that's not necessarily
true. But not
true.
exactly that. But what if she lives in that apartment?
That's
and what
true.
if you the kid gets dropped off in the morning and she's there and you really don't want her near your child, but it's inevitable. It's not really like you could avoid it. So it's like there's really no way. Like, what do you do in that situation?
What I would do, I would just be me. I would give him that space. Yeah. Because I don't want to create issues.
Right.
And I don't want
you to see your kids.
I don't want the whole of your issues being me because I never wanted to do that in the first place.
Right. So I want you to see your kids. I don't want to take you away from your kids. That's terrible. That's a part of you.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's tough navigating these relationships.
Oof.
It's never easy. Might as well just be celibate, but what's the fun in it?
Hey.
What are you passionate about?
The youth. I'm passionate about the youth. I'm passionate about spirituality. I'm passionate about being yourself. Like that's what I'm about. Being yourself, even if it's not accepted, even if people don't like it. Be yourself, respectfully, of course. Add that part in.
I like that.
Respectfully.
That's hard.
Yeah.
It this, it does that, rather than letting them be who they are.
Okay.
They want to do art, and they're like, no, go get a city job. You know, simple stuff like that.
They'll
Yeah.
push you for the city jobs.
The city jobs are great. It's
City
nothing wrong with
jobs.
it. Yeah, that's
City
that's
jobs
what's
are great.
up. I'm
Well,
not.
I mean,
I'm saying if that's not their
Boardwalk
passion, you know, we don't promote passion when it don't make money.
That's
We
true.
don't see that at first. We only
That's
see it
true.
once it's making money. Then it's like, yo, that's my cousin.
Right. That's one of my big things.
I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine in the car about her son and when he grows up, is she gonna let him, like, as a parent, when you know your kid, let's say, is good at football, do you push them towards football because you know that they are exceptionally good? And what if they don't want to play football?
Right.
You let them
What if
be.
they want to join the circus? You know what I'm
You
saying?
get some
Do you let
makeup
them
so he
join
can
the
paint his
circus?
face.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that.
So you just let your kid just be whoever they want to be.
Absolutely.
But
Be who
isn't
they're
it your
supposed to
job
be.
as a parent to push your kid and what you see your kid is good at, to push them in that direction so
You
they
don't
can
push
excel at?
anyone.
You know, if you see your kid is good at science, you know, you try to encourage them to go to
Encourage is the
encourage them.
correct word.
science.
You encourage them.
Okay.
You don't push them
Push them
because at the end of the day,
aside.
they're not. Yo, be yourself. I am 6'8" black dude that came from the hood with tattoos. I pulled up to a stoplight. I was rocking gospel music. This white person next to me was rocking hip hop. You think I'm gonna turn mine down? I
Right.
ride a longboard to school when I worked in a certain school. I don't care what people think about me. At the end of the day,
You weren't born like that,
I
though.
was
At
gonna
what
ask you-
point did you arrive there?
Yeah.
I always.
Yeah.
No, I'm more of it now, but I always was that.
Did your
I
parents
al-
push you that
I
way?
was in the hood. Did you ever see me hanging out in the hood?
No.
Ever.
No.
That just never. I always had something inside of me, literally like innate in me, that just was like, oh, there's more to this, and just I was on my own wave. I used to ride around the hallways in skates, like just be you. At the end of the day, like we all be like putting these masks on. Meanwhile, we going through the same stuff, and we're not discussing it, and all of us are suffering in silence and looking crazy.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let me ask you, because you said that you lived in a trailer, you lived in a house, you lived in a project, so you're like, you know, you've traveled, so you're worldly. You know, you're worldly, you have, you know, views of the world and things like that. So, you know, should we encourage our kids to travel, you think? And
Absolutely.
get out there,
That is the.
places?
That's the.
But what if they don't want to? What if they were like, Mom, you know, I want
All
to
right.
be
That's
on
what
the
they don't
block. I
want.
want to be
How
on the
about
block
this?
with
Stop
my
taking
friends.
vacation without your kids.
Right.
Take them with you.
Right.
Even if, because I'm not going to say that when I was younger, I embraced everywhere that I went, but I learned something.
Yes.
And not all of them are going to learn in the manner that you think. Like some of them are picking stuff up that they might not even realize they're picking up till later on. So for
Right.
me, it's like
Yeah,
absolutely
shit.
travel. There's more than Staten Island. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
Lord knows.
There's so much more than Staten.
Just
some of-
within the other
Nigga.
four
Just
boroughs, you
up-
can
yeah,
take
some of
your
them don't even
kid.
get off.
Yeah,
It's like-
absolutely.
It's like you got,
Listen, one time I run a nonprofit too, Have a Heart NY.
Yes.
Taking all donations. I was working with a family and I was taking a young lady. She was about 12. On Staten Island, grew up, was born, raised on Staten Island. I was taking her to Target so we could do some arts and crafts. And she was so excited. She told me she's never been to Target.
Oh my goodness.
And it broke my heart. I
Yeah.
mean, literally teared up because it's like she's 12 years old. Target, and she lives
Yeah.
what, 2-3 miles from Target? And why hasn't this child ever been to Target?
The circumstances.
Yeah.
people
But it
stay in their
just-
comfort zones too. That's another thing too. Like it's hard to, when we don't know something,
Talk.
we call it crazy or we call it
That's
wrong when
true.
we don't understand something.
Yeah.
Like even, I wasn't always like this. Like when I lived in Florida, if we went to McDonald's, that was a
Big
restauant.
deal.
Like
Yeah.
that was like
It's
a big.
eating out. We went out
Like,
to eat.
what?
That was the case
Yeah.
with everybody.
Right. Because we got
But
home
that's
cooked
not
meals.
everyone's. That's the case from everyone where we live. Like
You just
when I was
gotta
training
get
some
out.
kids, right? Some of them been on cruises. I ain't been on a cruise until I had like a job, multiple jobs, like overseas making
Right.
multiple months. So, and for them, she's 12, 13 years old. This
Right.
is normal. Like, we're going on a cruise.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so it's literally understanding that people are, they can only, a lot of people can only see as far as like their circumstances, like
Yes.
this room, right? They only see this room.
That's it.
Not realizing like this room's in a building,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
building's on an island, this island's in
Exactly.
the state's
So
in the
it's
country,
right.
it's on a continent.
That's a
like,
deep way of thinking
what
about
I'm saying?
things.
So-
Yeah.
Clear the kids out the room.
Clear the kids out the room. This is
Hide your
not
wife, hide your
safe
kids.
for work. Hide the kids. But we have some grown folks, you know, topics to discuss. And I was wondering, I was having actually a conversation with a girlfriend. And she was telling me, and legitimately a girlfriend. This is not me saying I had a situation
friend.
and I'm disguising it as my friend. This was a real conversation that I had with a friend. A lot of times people will ask me, where do you get the topics for your books? And they come up in conversations with people. And so this girlfriend was sharing with me that the man she's been in a relationship with for 7 years likes for her to penetrate him with an instrument during sex.
Okay.
And so for me, you know, the question came up, if I were in a similar situation and you know, we're in the act, we're in the moment, and he says to me, you know, put it in there. You know, he gives me something, he tells me, put it in there. Would that be a deal breaker for me? Like, would I consider him
Pump the
gay or fluid or bisexual because he likes to have anal penetration? Or is anything okay as long as it's within the confines of a monogamous relationship?
That's
What,
what I
what might
think.
be for you might not be
Right. I know a
That's
lot.
true.
Some men don't like, you know, fellatio.
They
Right.
don't? I ain't
Some men do
never
not
met
like
a
fellatio.
man.
I feel like I heard that before.
Anti-receiving fellatio?
Why? You don't have to. I mean, why?
I just thought that was a universal.
Some women don't like condolingus.
I never
That's
met
a
a
big
bitch
word.
that I never met
Condolingus.
one that didn't
Condolingus
like
rice?
condolingus.
God, not
Need a
condolingus
few
rice.
Listen, are we going to be grown?
That's a
I
different
feel
thing.
like-
That's not liking it.
That's not
It's
liking
not
him liking
how
it.
he's doing it, and so you can guide him on how to do it, right?
Nah, some women would prefer
But why?
a toy.
Why do I have to
Really?
guide
They feel
him?
the toy hits the spot every time.
All
The
right.
what?
Self,
It's
probably
what?
Some-
self-pleasure.
Some women prefer the toy because
The
they
bob.
feel it hits.
The
it hits
toy
the-
is
my-
100%
That's
guarantee.
my.
It's like,
it's
you
a
know,
bob.
100% satisfaction guarantee. With the man, you know, it's kind of a gamble, you know?
Allegedly.
Well, not
No.
every man, but with some men, you know, let's say you're in a new relationship,
I'm
right?
sorry. I just put you something like I said the sound, the smacking, and all of that noise going on down there. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. It be a lie, you know. This y'all know what I'm talking about.
You
The
don't gotta-
sound, the smacking.
Yes.
Don't make me do it.
No,
Don't do it. Don't.
Okay.
if you're in the
You got me
moment,
I got misophonia.
if you're in the moment,
What the
with
heck? What the heck is that?
Sidebar. Misophonia is
No. Look it up if you want to. Go on.
All right.
Go ahead.
yes, we give you homework here on Fine Wine and Good Time.
I'm getting ready to Google that.
All right. Now here's what. Come back next episode and give us the
Absolutely.
definition. Let us know
Spell
that you
it.
did your homework.
Miso.
The question I have is, is very true, is that women have been taught that a man's erogenous zone, like for women, they call it the G-spot. So allegedly in a woman, up at the, like if you put your
Got a
two
dingle
fingers into the woman, there you go, Nigel.
And you
Nigel's
say,
very
"Come-
familiar
come
with the
here.
G-spot.
Come here,
Do the
girl."
come here motion, that's the woman's G-spot. So they say that the man's G-spot is in the anus.
I know where it's at.
I'm not gonna have to say anything. I'm not gonna stop the
the
fellatio. I'm
woman
just gonna
would
grab
know.
the hand and move it, and then if
then
it went
that's
back,
it.
I'm
And
gonna
she'll
grab
know,
the hand
like,
again and
yeah.
hold on to this hand.
Like this.
You know
Don't
what
do
I'm
it
saying?
again.
Like nah, like at the end of the day,
We're not
seriously,
playing that.
How many people really stop in the middle of this type of stuff to say something?
I'm-
Not many.
You just act like
I'm
yo.
different
Right.
than him. That would
Okay.
be a deal sealer for me. I'm out.
You would leave.
I'm going. This situation's over. That would turn me off
Why?
because I'm not into that.
Is she trying
But
to
she
slip
don't
something?
know. She's trying
gonna
something
fi-
new.
She found out at that time.
The hard way.
Yeah, it's
When you
over.
left.
I'm staying focused.
You locked
I'm
got
not
one
gonna
goal.
load it. I'm staying focused. Like you messed
Nah.
up. You messed up.
Messed up, but it's all right. We can get this
I'm
back on
understanding.
track.
So I'm just gonna like.
She was
we're
in the
adults.
moment.
Nah, that's a deal sealer for me.
Fair enough.
Is it?
That's
100%.
What if your lady came home and said, you know, I watched this movie, this documentary on Netflix, and I want to try something new. You know, and you go in the bedroom and you don't know what the new thing is, but the next thing you know, you got a finger in your ass.
No, that's not.
It's in there.
It's not gonna
Aaron.
get in there.
It's already in
no,
there.
No.
It's not gonna get in there.
My manly
Yo, you
instincts.
can't put a finger in the man's
We'll
ass if
prevent
you don't
that.
want it in there.
Yeah, if I don't want it in there, it ain't going in
It
there.
ain't
Right.
going
So,
in there.
I don't think you
he
understand,
will break
like-
your fucking
That's a
finger.
lot of- that's a lot of
He
work.
will break your
We-
fucking finger.
First
Okay.
of all, when we get a certain age, we have to get, you know what I'm saying, the prostate.
Right.
Listen, me and my brother, I'm gonna say, he's my friend, he's my brother. We have joked like, yo, bro, we almost getting at that age, bro. Like,
Yes.
And he even got into a car accident, and we were joking about it because they had to check to see if he had internal bleeding. And that's one of the things they had to do.
Yes.
We were dying laughing at the story. Like, he was like, nah. They was like, yo, we gotta, we have to check. He's like, no, you don't. I'm good. I'm not bleeding. I'm good. He was
How
like,
does
no,
he
we
know
do.
he's bleeding
He
internally?
was like,
Right.
but that's my point. But this, you get what I'm
Nigga
saying?
would rather
like,
die.
it got to the point where
He
they
would
had
rather
to.
die.
So he was like, I was like, no, they had to. He was like, yeah. I was like, no.
That's
But
different circumstances.
No,
though.
but I'm trying to bring out how, like, we're not with that. We have to get tested, and some men probably won't even go get
Right.
tested
Because of
Right,
that.
because of that.
You know what I mean? Like,
But is that a hyper masculinity?
it's not a. It's you're
Because
not
it's just a
comfortable with
body
it.
part.
So what? So that's like trying to force a woman to do anal that doesn't want to do it. That believes that it's not a masculinity thing. You don't want to do it. That's not your thing.
It's your sexual preference.
It's your sexual preference. Even if they're married, in marriage, technically you become one, but you can't force her to do it if she don't want to do it. So
True.
why this has to be this whatever term you just used,
Hyper
because
masculinity.
that nonsense that I don't want to I don't want to do this. You get what I'm saying? I can't if I can't like. If we're gonna have it on one area, like, yo, I can't have sex with my wife because it's her body,
Right.
then that's
It's
not
my
no
ass.
feminine. What's that word again?
Hyper masculinity.
No
Yes.
hyper femininity.
It's-
You get what I'm saying? We
Right,
gotta
right, right.
respect it. Like,
Okay.
Nah.
So let's say you guys are all out, it's one of your bros bachelor party. You know how y'all get together for the bachelor parties,
don't,
right?
no.
Y'all having a conversation at the bachelor party or the bachelor party goes up. Strippers come in.
I've been to some good bachelor
You've been to
parties,
some
so.
good ones, haven't you? You look like you've been to some good bachelor parties. Do you throw them? Are you in charge of the bachelor
I got two
party?
older brothers that got married.
Ah.
Trash.
You have photos?
No, hell no.
Smart man, no
That's
photographic
No
evidence.
proof. What?
That-
All right. So let's say you're at a bachelor party, one of your extravaganzas, and you see one of your bros in the room, and he's being anally penetrated by one of the strippers
In the
in at the bachelor party.
damn, Tracy.
I'm a writer. This is a hypothetical, right?
Okay.
So you see it.
One of my bros.
One of your bros, like this your man's in them. Do you look at him differently going forward, and
Yes.
do you tell the rest of the men at the party?
No,
You don't tell the other men.
No, I wouldn't
But
do
you
that
do
to
look at him differently.
Are you gonna tell him you seen him?
Are you gonna tell him you saw him?
absolutely. And
You
we
are?
would have to
tell
have
me how that
a
happens. I'm
conversation.
him.
we would have to have some type of conversation.
I'm him. Let's do
Like
it.
what?
Hey, what up, Aaron? How you doing? Last night was fun, wasn't it?
I seen you in the room last night, brother.
What'd you say?
I seen what was going on. I ain't know you was into stuff like that.
You don't do that?
Nah, that ain't my thing.
Why do
You
it
should
matter?
try it.
It's not, no, that's you still my boy. You still my boy.
So why'd you
but-
bring it up?
Because that was something different that I didn't know that you do.
Are you concerned sharing a room with him going forward?
No,
No.
not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Because it was with a woman.
Oh, no, I can share a room with a gay guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm in tune with my
That's
masculinity.
dope.
Right.
Clap it up for being in
cool.
tune
Yeah,
with
I'm
your
fine
masculinity.
with that.
All right.
love that.
Can I say
And,
something?
and what,
So-
what
go
people
ahead.
get misconstrued is just because somebody's gay doesn't mean that they're attracted
That
to
they
you.
want you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what if you found out your boy suck toes? He like to suck the toe.
I suck toes. What's wrong with that?
Right. So he could be like, yo, finger in the ass. What's wrong with that?
Sucking toes?
Finger in the ass.
Oh, finger in the ass. I didn't hear
Yeah.
you. That's his preference. That's what he's
That's
into.
his preference. That's your preference.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, so is it even worth it to approach him? Like, you
Right.
see it,
I
it's
mean,
like, all right,
I don't.
take him into no. That's my boy.
I don't have
He
any.
like that shit.
I don't have
You
any.
just want him to know you saw it.
Right.
Okay.
Why?
Huh.
Because that's something that's sitting with me that I need to discuss with him. I wouldn't like me and him being setting alone and just. I would have to get it out.
Yeah.
It would bother me.
Okay. Nigel?
It would definitely bother me.
I wouldn't feel the need to have that conversation. That's his thing.
If you saw it, how would you react in
What
the
does
moment?
this affect in our relationship? Nothing. He's not into me. That's his thing. And honestly, that's his thing. That's between him and his woman.
Or the man.
Honestly, why? If this is what I do with my woman, I'm not sharing that anyway.
Right.
I've.
No,
had-
she's saying that if you witnessed it,
I get what, but the point that I'm getting
like
at
it's
is
embedded
that
in your memory.
all right, this might be.
Nigga have a nightmare about it.
I'm not
No,
having.
mama, don't.
That's that man. That's what I'm not having nightmares about that. Like
Right.
I got my own stuff.
'Cause that's his
Fish and
booty,
fry.
not
That's
your
his-
Right,
booty.
because
that's
you
his
probably
thing.
like some freaky deaky shit that you
Nah,
don't want
that's not-
nobody knowing about.
I ain't
Right.
worried. I'm not worried about what I do.
Right.
Trust me, I ain't worried about it. I do exactly what I do, and I don't
Everybody
do what I
do
don't
some
do.
shit.
Yes.
Everybody do
No, I'm
some
not.
shit.
That's not
Everybody
necessary to have a
do
conversation.
some
It's
shit.
really not. That's his thing. That's his thing. That's behind his closed doors. That's
Right.
between him and his woman.
Do you look at him differently?
Nah, I'm not gonna. Why would I look at him differently?
Yeah, right.
I find this very, very surprising and refreshing to hear you two talk like this because I was expecting to hear, because most of the men that I am around act as if any penetration of the anus makes a man immediately gay.
That's
But
a lot with this
all right, so
generation.
let's go down that track and let's say he is. So what? Now what? This is gonna stop being your brother?
Exactly.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like that don't.
It doesn't
that
change
doesn't
a
bother.
thing.
And like he said, that don't mean they're into you. Like honestly, that's kind of presumptuous.
It is,
to
that-
sit there and be like,
Oh,
I
he
can't be
must
around
want
this.
me.
Yeah,
Right,
like,
he
who
want
even,
me.
who even say you're good enough for
Please.
that?
Right, exactly.
I
You know
don't
what
even
I'm
think you
saying?
cute, bro.
Like-
you know?
Right.
This remind me of like the females back in the day. Were like, oh, he don't want me. He must be gay.
He must be.
Nah, he just
right. No,
don't
he's
want
just
you.
not
Right, he's
attracted
not
to
attracted
you.
to
Right.
So,
Right.
for me,
Right.
it's like, no, that's your thing, and it's I don't even understand why we make this such a big thing anyway.
If a man came to us and said, you know, I was in a relationship with Brad for 2 years, but I'm over that, and now I'm heterosexual, and I like to have my anus stimulated, right? That would be a concern. So for y'all, is it a problem if a woman says she had a relationship or a sexual relationship with another woman prior to you? Is that a turn on or a deal breaker?
So, no.
I say it's a turn on.
It's a turn
Absolutely.
I was gonna say
on.
Why?
Nigel Walker.
Nigel, what?
Why?
It just came out.
From America's Next Top
Yeah,
Model.
I can't say Nigel without
Nigel
the
Walker.
Barker.
Why do you say it's a turn on?
Barker.
Why do you say
Yeah.
it's a turn
'Cause-
on?
I'm sorry. Before
Go
you
ahead.
answer that, men love lesbian
Love
porn.
lesbian
period.
porn.
Yeah,
What?
but
Threesome?
why?
I'm
I like
fit, babe.
lesbian porn.
Let's
I'll be
do a
honest.
threesome. You want Keisha, Renee,
Yes,
and I'm.
because-
But as soon as you say
But
that,
why?
Not all men like lesbian porn.
Right. I want to know why. Is that why?
Well, we're
feel
gonna
like-
get there, but first,
Because like she said, like
Uh-huh.
if you have a woman that says that she was into women, there's always that chance.
that she'll bring a friend
Threesome.
home.
Yes.
so which one with a
Possibility.
five-some, a six-some? You
Just
can
an
have a
orgy.
seven-some, an
Five-some.
eight-some.
It's an orgy.
Yes.
As long as it's four other women.
Wait a minute, you good?
Yeah.
So if in that scenario she brings another woman home, you're fine with that. You don't think there's any competition from the other woman.
No, not at all.
I think that's the
Oh,
difference.
my brother. It is. Best believe another woman could take your woman.
Like I said before, 10 minutes ago,
No?
I'm good with my masculinity.
Okay.
I'm real good with my masculinity. And if I knew that I was going to put myself in a situation where I would be competitive with somebody else,
Right.
I wouldn't do it.
What about boys when they do the sword fighting?
What boys do sword fighting?
I mean,
What
this is
kind
not
of
a,
swords?
it's not a thing that
Where
they
they do that at?
Nobody make listen.
that's what I want to know.
Where they do that? Where they do that at?
Where was they doing that at?
This is my work.
Little boys
In
sword
college.
fight.
Where
in
are
college.
you finding this stuff on shows like Jackass? That has never been my. Let me explain something.
You
to
never saw it for it?
For what? I've never.
Don't even ask me that
I'm not-
question.
no, at all. Let me
That
explain
is a
something to you.
picture, Jay-Z. Oh my God.
Even,
No,
as,
you
even as
didn't.
an athlete, right? Even
Yes.
as an athlete.
In the locker
That
room.
is that
Even
is
as a-
that is
let me
that
explain
is
something to
very
you.
that is very
Before I even got to college, right? When we played a certain team who shall remain nameless,
the Warriors.
and we
No, I'm
saw
just kidding.
the team
I'm
that we
joking.
played, and
Okay.
when we saw them and they was in the shower, we looked at each other like, "Yo, that's gay. That's blah blah blah." That was the culture back then.
What did you
Right.
see that
That
caused
they
you
were
to
naked in the shower
Together.
Like,
And
how
y'all
dare
were
you could
not?
do that? Hell no, we weren't.
How do you
Public-
take a shower?
We didn't take a shower at the games then.
They was
Oh, y'all
just
was
in
some
the locker
funky-
room.
We
I'm
call it
kidding.
whatever. I don't give a damn whatever. Right? So when I got to college,
Same
you work
thing,
out
same
too
thing.
much not to shower there.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
You don't even think about that.
You don't even think about that.
Right.
And the other thing is,
Maturity.
even though
Yeah.
that's not what we came from, everyone else is doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not even a peer pressure, but you start to realize, like, hold on. This thing that I've been thinking is abnormal, it's normal.
Right.
And no one's thinking about that because, like, that's immature to think about that.
You just
Why
try to wash your ass.
Why, you
Right.
trying to,
Right.
legit. Like, I got a bigger fear of smelling. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, nah, this is not okay.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, you're not even thinking about that. You training 3-4 times a day. You don't have time just to get dressed and keep going. You're gonna smell. You're not looking at the next man and blah blah blah. You have a
Right.
conversation, everything. The conversation's up here. But at the end of the day, like come on, man, we grown. We not doing that. Like overseas, yeah, they might play the little butt games and stuff like that. But
What's
you're
a
like, no,
little
I'm not
butt
with it.
game?
Like hitting each other on the butt and stuff like that. But you'd be like, nah. But I've never seen sword fighting on
Never.
TV. On
Okay.
TV, Zorro.
Okay.
Zorro. Oh.
I had a conversation recently with someone, and they were saying that if a man cries,
Cry, baby.
that it makes her feel like he's not masculine. But then I have the question of, then what does a man do with raw emotions like sadness and anger and frustration if he doesn't cry? If you lose a parent
Smack
or a
people.
friend or a relationship ended, is it not natural to shed a tear?
No,
Yes.
it of course it's natural. I mean, shit, that's why we got tear ducts, tears. If it wasn't natural for a man to cry, he wouldn't be able to cry.
Right.
I feel like it's a lot of people. Well, I don't know about now, but growing up, it's like
You need to cry.
you crying like a little girl.
You treat,
Stop being a
Yes.
little
treat,
girl.
Yes.
you treat boys emotionally
Man up.
different than you
Yeah,
do little
man
girls.
up. But it's like he just felt. You don't even know what happened here.
Right.
That's my biggest issue. I have a
Yes.
like. It irks me.
Me too.
When
Children.
parents, especially parents, they just say things to their kids without going back. Like, why is this happening? It's
Yes.
happening for a reason,
Yes.
mom,
Okay, yes.
dad. I'm there. We're here. You're
Yeah.
crying. We're talking about it. We're
Yes.
getting through it. We're here.
Right.
I'm not about to be like, you a bitch ass nigga.
At all.
Like,
right.
that not
At
even
all.
gonna cross my
No.
mind. I see you. We're here. We're
Exactly.
here. We're getting through it. Because I would want somebody to do that for me.
Yes.
Not because I'm a woman, but
And
because I'm a person.
That's right, Shine. Especially
why-
because it's
come
so
on now.
hard for black men to get vulnerable like that. with
because
us.
of people.
right.
Like me.
Exactly. I didn't want to say
Yes,
it. So I was
because
looking
of people
though.
like me.
Y'all need y'all own
Yes,
show.
because, and I'm keeping it 100. I'm gonna, if my man is crying because God forbid his mother passed away, yes. But if he's like over there crying over
'Cause
some
the
shit,
Knicks
and I'm
lost,
like, this
yeah.
nigga's a fucking pussy. You crying, really? Like, man up. Like, you supposed to be my protector, my king. You over there crying.
But that don't mean
The
he
way
can't.
Nigel's looking
that
at
don't
him.
mean
Have
he can't
emotions.
protect you. No,
Right.
like,
And I
One
know,
don't
but
have-
it's just
one-
showing the weakness. Like, come
one
on
don't have
now.
nothing
Like,
to do with the
vulnerable.
other.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
Vul-
man. I'm
You ain't
sorry,
got no
man.
business.
I
That's
need
the-
a
nah,
I
protector. I
respect
need
you
a
being
protector.
honest.
Actually,
But
the
one
show
doesn't have nothing to do with the other.
Actually, to show vulnerability is to be strong.
Do you
Yes.
feel like he's a stronger person because he keeps his emotions inside? I don't feel like that's a strong person. Psychology
Like, again,
major.
it all
That's not a
depends
strong
on
person.
what he's crying about. If he's
Why
a
should
punk,
it depend though? If he shouldn't be a
punk-
punk, you know your man.
Wait a minute. Tamika was more okay with the dildo in the ass than she is
Like, come on now. He can't even cry.
Fuck
I can
fuck,
sympathize.
Vanity cries at the
we
same
can run,
time.
Like,
we can
come
run
on now.
something out with
What
the
would happen
dildo.
if he cried at the same
Fuck
Okay, you
time?
cry, I'm packing my bag, nigga. You weak.
seriously,
if you
how we
bend
Dick in the
over-
ass, you strong, nigga.
women are looked at as the weaker vessel sometimes, and sometimes they display more strength because they can cut this nigga down.
But they
But
won't.
but they sit there like this. And then there's
choose
some, and then
peace,
there's,
hold
and
on
there's,
to
there's
it.
some,
Choose
there's some
peace.
dudes, and I'm like, yo, that dude is strong because it's like what they deal with on a daily basis
Yes.
at work or at whatever,
Right.
and consistently they show up. Consistently, like a comedian made a joke one time. Fathers always get that tie for Father's Day, like that card with the tie on it. Yo, that joint is true.
It is true because I've
You know what
seen
I'm
it
saying?
several times.
Like
got a
it's
lot-
true,
I got a
and
lot
it's
of 'em.
always it's always talked about like even on like when you go to church, even on Father's Day, they be like, yeah, shout out to the mothers that's being fathers.
They
like,
do
damn,
do
you can't
that.
even
They
get your
do.
day.
That's
Right.
super corny to me.
And then-
I coach kids.
Right.
Coach youth football, and I've cried in front of my players before.
How did they respond to that?
They cried with me.
They did. What was
Absolutely.
the cry over? Was it a loss?
We lost.
Yeah. And you had worked really hard
Absolutely.
for it.
Yes,
100%.
that's that
100%.
disappointment.
And it
Yeah.
allowed them, what you did there was very powerful actually, because you gave them permission
To be vulnerable.
to
Yes,
feel the
yes.
feeling in the moment.
No,
Yes, I'm telling you.
I
that's
cried.
what-
I cried because they were crying. They made me cry.
Okay.
Oh, so
right.
you felt
But
their
you made it
pain.
seem like it was okay. You wasn't
Right.
like, hey, stop
No,
that.
no,
Keep
no.
your head up.
Man
No.
up.
Next time.
Right.
No.
Like,
right.
No.
So
Yeah.
that was
Let
a
them know
very
it was
powerful
okay
thing
for
them
them
to
to
see you
feel.
like that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's okay
Did you
for people
talk
to
to
feel.
any of them after that, like about?
Never.
Never.
No.
That's the other thing I find interesting about men is that oftentimes when y'all are vulnerable, afterwards there's no discussion of it.
Oof.
Like not the
Y'all
same
are,
material.
y'all are just. We got the same material too,
So
but I'm
you-
not going to the bathroom with him.
No.
Your urinals are side by side. Your
So
dick
what?
is right
As
next to
a-
his
let me
dick.
explain- let me
Yes,
explain
I heard
something to
there's
you.
rules that you could
Well,
not
there-
look
there
over and
are
look
rules.
down.
When you get in the urinal and
Your
I'm like,
eyes
yo,
are
right.
I'm getting the urinal.
Can't
Dude's
look
like, yo,
down.
you're mad tall, yo, blah blah. I'm like, yo, my guy, this is
Trying
not
to
the
talk
time
to
to be
you.
having that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not the time to be having that.
What you what
I
they
want to
want
talk
you
about my
to say?
height right now. I can't even concentrate. It starts dripping. Right? It starts dripping. Right? It's like I can't even flow right now. You're messing up the cipher, bro. Like, nah, for real. There's not time and place. Nah, this is not the time and place to talk about height or anything, bro.
Okay.
Keep your
Don't
eyes
look
on your
over
road.
here.
Your eyes
And
on
it's
Yes,
not.
y'all-
It's
like
no,
right here.
yeah, it's
Y'all
not.
got a shot.
If I cry, am I weak?
Shut up.
If I start crying, am I weak? Am I no longer a lion?
No.
Am I licking
See,
my
I
paws?
knew y'all was gonna take that. It's not that my
It's a
man
joke.
is
I'm-
weak.
it's a joke,
He's
nah.
not weak. Cry
You
together.
cry.
Watch out.
Women
Watch
do
out for
protect
that.
men. We don't even see it. Like, we got mothers that are protecting,
Yes.
and women do protect. Men might
Yes.
protect in one manner. Women protect men's ego at different times. They can literally
Yes.
protect their image.
Yes,
if a
I
man's about to
agree.
look crazy, there's plenty of times where women hold it down, like certain situations that's going on, because they know if they go speak to it about someone, they're gonna perceive their man differently. So they,
Yeah.
men,
That's
women protect in
protection,
different. The
yes.
roles cross plenty of
Okay.
times.
I agree.
My
I
pops
like
always
that
used
I
to,
point.
agree
he
with
used to
that
be like,
for sure.
a man is the head of the household and a woman is the neck, and the head don't go nowhere without the neck. And
Can't
that's real.
turn, can't
Yeah.
move.
Like we
Without
be
the
stuck
neck.
in this. Like I do this.
Yeah.
You can't do your this without their that.
Ooh.
I need your dad on the show next time. You've been
right,
good,
that's
but
right.
your
His dad,
dad
his
who I
dad is a
really
very
need.
interesting
Yes,
man.
he
You ain't ready for
is.
that.
I like
Nah,
that.
He's no longer with us, so we will start with an RIP to Mr. Kevin Samuels.
Absolutely.
You know, condolences to his family. What I found interesting about his story, or the phenomenon that is Kevin Samuels overall, is how triggered people were by him. I'm a woman who's
Mostly
triggered.
females.
Yes.
Yeah.
But black men, I think, found it seemed like y'all felt seen for the first time.
Because
in
he was
him.
saying everything that they wanted to say.
Was he? So I want
I
to talk
feel like.
about that. To me, Kevin was he spoke about his I want to call it disdain for black women. And it seems specifically targeted at black women, because I don't think he was saying overall that women need to lose weight or
Definitely.
women need to lower their standards. I think he was talking specifically to us. And it just felt cruel. I think there's a way to say something nicely and get your point across, but
Right.
the way he was saying it to me didn't seem, honey coated.
Right.
What you think of him?
To me, I didn't really pay mind to it. I try not to involve myself with negative energy. And to me, he gave off that type of energy, and I kind of ignored him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear some of his hot takes? Like, for instance, I saw some women call in, and he would start what got me, first of all, let's unpack that.
Mm-hmm.
Women were calling in
Right.
to get his brand of advice, which was very blunt. And women would call in and he would ask them things like, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you consider yourself? And so the woman, most of us would rate ourselves high because we've been taught, you know, you a 10, girl, you know. So they would say, I'm a 10 or I'm a 9. And he would tell them, you know, you're a 5 at best. You know, you need to lower that because you're overweight. You got kids, so that lowers your levels. And then you got, you know, whatever. Like he was just very demeaning, I felt like. So when you saw those things, did you find some truth in what he was saying?
No, because who was he to judge?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you to tell a woman that she's a 5
right.
or a 6?
Okay.
What do you rate yourself?
Right.
In that sense.
A lot of people who, for whatever reason, cheered him on, you know, and thought that he was speaking for Black men. I saw a lot of Black men, celebrities, come into his defense this week and saying that they thought he was funny, which again brings me back to like, what do we find funny? And they say there's some truth in every joke, but is it funny to tell someone that they're a 5?
It's not funny to demean anybody.
He wasn't a comedian.
Right.
Right.
There wasn't nothing funny about that.
Right.
And he was dead serious
about breaking a female down.
Yeah. And then what makes him an expert? That's the other thing too. I feel like someone said all he did in order to qualify as an expert was put on a nice suit, get a lineup, throw on some glasses.
Yeah, because where's the PhD? Where's the anything before, you know? Like, where did he even come from?
So where people are labeling themselves, you know, I'm a relationship expert, or, you know, I'm a life coach. And like, I just wonder what the qualifications are, what Kevin's qualifications were, what Steve's are, you know, and
that is a very good question.
Yeah.
So your experience with this woman may be different from another woman.
Does it matter to you that he spent his career or built his career and accumulated millions of dollars criticizing Black women, and when he was deceased, he was with a non-Black woman?
Typical.
You know, like, it's laughable a little bit. Like,
I don't mean to laugh at the
no,
man's
certainly we're not. We are
not
not laughing at the tragedy that occurred.
No,
but the irony is laughable, I think. You know,
it's very ironic.
Yeah,
because like, come on now.
Yeah,
and a lot of people like that were backing him and are still backing him. They're not looking at the fact that he said all this stuff about Black women and then goes around and doesn't date Black women for real.
Right.
They're not looking at that. They're just looking like, oh, he was the man.
He was the man. He was
said
funny.
Some shit.
Yeah.
Right. Come on now.
Recently, Shot, you and I were talking about this brother who had this disdain for Black women and had released all these tweets about he would never be with a Black woman and he don't find us attractive and all of this stuff. And then he wound up getting murdered by his white girlfriend. She stabbed him to death.
Wow.
And then
she's still free, by the way.
Still free because she claimed self-defense.
Yeah.
And his family wanted the Black community to rally to his defense.
I heard about that. I did hear
but
about that.
should we, if he didn't like Black women?
You know where I stand on that. I feel like we should. Regardless, in my opinion, of whatever. Those tweets were from 2012, by the way. No matter who he dated, we should still want to get justice. Okay. Exactly, because people get killed by white cops all the time. That doesn't mean I'm not going to say nothing just because
when you got a point, you got
the cop is white.
Yeah,
and also, glad you brought this up because I realized that another story is similar to this but switched around.
Okay.
Because this woman, 24 years old, went to meet a white male. They ended up, I guess, hooking up or something, and then she was found dead the next morning.
This story, yes.
Right? And he's not in jail because the cop said he's just a great man because he's a white man, right?
It was a blind date or something like that, right?
Tinder, or something like that.
Okay.
And everybody's like, oh my God, we need to get justice for this girl. She was on Facebook like, oh, if things don't work out with Tyrone, I'm going to Bradley.
So should Tyrone be out there marching for her?
Absolutely.
I say not. I say sit on down, Tyrone. Sit right on down. This is not your fight. Just like this ain't my fight for the brother. I feel like Becky and Karen and them need to come out there and fight for his rights.
Okay, but what if it was your son?
Then if it was my son and he was making those tweets about black women being hood boogers and stuff, I'd have checked him on that because you're talking about me.
But you would want justice for
exactly.
your son,
but I would get it myself. I wouldn't expect the community to rally to my defense. But that's just me. I'm open to other opinions. That's what it's all about. Yeah, fine wine and good times. If you were with a woman, let's say you were making $100,000 a year, and now you get with Beyonce. She's a billionaire. Do you feel secure?
Absolutely.
Please explain, because I had this conversation with another brother who said absolutely not.
Why would I be insecure?
His argument was that he would feel lesser than,
like, not a man,
right? Because he couldn't afford to do the things that she
money
could
don't
afford.
Make me though.
Okay.
You have that mindset. Not a lot of men have that mindset.
Yeah, money don't make me.
So you legit have no problem dating an Oprah?
Absolutely not.
So now you're on the red carpet with Oprah. And they got the camera and everybody's, Oprah, stand over here. Excuse me, could you move?
It's her world.
Your
could
butler.
you move?
Right.
You're in her life.
It's your world.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with myself like that.
It's a rare brother that feels that way. I'm trying to tell you. So let me ask you this then, and this is a question for both of you. When we're talking gender norms and role reversal, have you ever asked a man on a date? Have you ever been asked by a woman to go out?
Negative.
Negative.
Couple
why or why not?
Couple times.
I'm too shy. In general, but if I were to, I don't think I don't know. Like, I'm just awkward, so I don't think it would go well.
No.
Yeah. No.
What if you could do it by text?
Yeah, maybe like you want to hang out sometime, you know. Like you said, Alicia Keys, what she said, can I speak to
exactly. I look
Michael?
A little different out of my work uniform.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to speak to Michael and all know his menu when he come in for the special every Wednesday, I think, and order the hot chocolate.
Song.
But I put milk in it because you're special.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think you're kind of cute.
Right.
What do you think? If a woman approaches you and asks you on a date, is it sexy or do you feel she's a little forward?
It depends on how our approach is.
Okay, let me give you two scenarios. Okay, one is a coworker sees you around the office, you know, and then she comes over to you one day and says, you know, I want to take you out. I've been, you know, checking you out. You don't like that?
No, just the whole work thing.
Oh. It's the work
bad
thing.
Experience.
Bad work experience. All right, so let's take it outside of work. let's go to the bar. You're at the bar. A woman sends you a drink, right? And the bartender says, the lady over there sent you a drink.
I got something to say to that.
Okay.
When we come back.
All right, the lady over there sent you a drink. How do you respond to that?
If I'm single?
Yeah.
I would definitely I would involve myself with her 100%.
How do you feel about her approach? Because they always say you only get one chance to make a first impression. You find it cute.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What if it was some chicken wings? Because I see now on Twitter, some girl says she don't send drinks, she send chicken wings.
I like to eat.
Right.
That's even better.
And the men in the comments was like, hey, baby, let's go with the chicken wings. Like, you know, send me chicken wings too. Shoot, I don't want a drink. Send me the chicken and french fries, all of them.
Most times people attract certain people. I attract alpha females. So
Do you?
A lot of times females
migrate towards you.
Yes. And an alpha female will make the first move 90% of the time. How do you feel about women proposing to men, proposing marriage? So there's a bunch of reality shows on TV where I saw one where this woman was dating this guy, I want to say 5 months, and she decided he was the one for her. So she invited him. He's thinking he's coming to a party. It's actually a surprise wedding. She's in a gown. She proposes marriage to him in front of all their friends and family. If he says yes, they get married right there on the spot, right? So the question all her friends leading up to this is, why are you asking him as opposed to the other way around? So is there an issue with a woman asking you for marriage? You've been dating a woman a year and you've talked about it, but nothing concrete. And now she invites you out and she's got all your boys here. And now she's down on one knee asking you to marry her in front of all your friends and family.
That's sweet, but I'm traditional, and I would like to get on my knee and ask her to marry me.
How would you handle it? Do you say yes in the moment?
Yes. If I felt in my heart that I wanted to marry this woman, I would say yes, but I would prefer it the other way around.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever propose to a man?
No. Why?
The look on your face is priceless.
Because why? No.
I think that's the stigma that is attached to whoredom. I think that
Whoredom.
you hear the word whore and you automatically think low budget, walking the projects looking for anybody. But the Webster's definition of a whore is a person who engages in sexual intercourse for pay,
Prostitute.
a prostitute, a promiscuous woman, or a male who engages in sexual acts for money. So I know a lot of whores. So do y'all. Like, let's stop playing around. Yes, you are whoring yourself to your
vacation.
You just called
Yes.
my mama a hoe. I can't believe this.
You are whoring yourself.
She just called you a whore.
No, I didn't. What I said, what I had said.
He shaved his shit with the razor,
Right.
nice and clean. Then he put the quick weave glue. You know, the quick weave shit, the glue up there. Then he took some human hair, the wavy shit, not on the track. You know, he made sure it was laid out real nice. Then he did like layers, like bow, bow, bow. And then he shaved it down like that.
I think I've seen that video.
And then he shaped it up like this. And
It
he
looked like
brushed
he had
that
a- he
shit
looked
down.
like he
I
had a
was
season.
like,
You gotta
oh, shit.
admire
With
the
mad
technique.
waves
That's too
too.
much work. I'm just getting the ball
He was
head.
doing it himself though.
I'm just getting a bald head.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I'm just shaving.
It made him look like 10 years younger.
See?
It really did.
He just can't go swimming. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in today to our Fine Wine and Good Times podcast. Thank you, JoJo. Thank you, Shy. We love you. Yes. And we appreciate each and every one of y'all for
Saluting
tuning
him.
in to Fine Wine and Good Times. Welcome back. Tune in next time. Be sure to hit the like, share,
get
and
some better
subscribe
wine.
button and that notification bell so you don't miss when we upload new content. Cheers.
Cheers to the nicest.
To the nice asses and to those who need a little reconstruction.
And for the record,
Yes.
I like Lizzo's butt.
You are
Jesus